we didn't want to do that anyway. I mean, eventually I signed Nigel Cassidy, and as I said to you before, I think Nigel Cassidy was injured when I signed him. And who else did I sign? From Walsall.
Oh, Bobby Shinton.
Bobby Shinton. Bobby Shinton, I mean, he finished up at Man City.
Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah. And Shinton, he was a tremendous player around the penalty area.
Brilliant, yeah.
I mean, he got. I don't know where he got his feet from, but they weren't footballers' feet. And but he was a good lad as well. Yeah. He was a good lad. He vowed that he wouldn't play for Ron Atkinson when Ron Atkinson took over.
Right.
He told me that himself. He said, "There's no way I'll play for him, Bill." But we were a bit short, and it was left too late. That's what it amounted to, I thought.
Right. So do you think if you'd stayed, you know, the parting of the ways came in '73, wasn't it? Do you think you could have got United up again if you'd stayed with the club?
I had complete faith in my ability to do anything I wanted to do. I mean, that's not bragging. That's just how I am.
Yeah. Okay. So what are your strengths? What do you attribute your success with, specifically with Cambridge United, to?
Man management.
Right.
Man management. I mean, you've got to be able to recognise a footballer when you see it. I mean, take Ian Hutchinson for instance. Oh. I mean, Ian Hutchinson, he's been dead for years and years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw Ian Hutchinson play half a game, and having seen him play half a game, and funnily enough, they were playing Chelmsford at Burton, where I signed him from. Not when I saw him, but this was the next game. Di Ward was injured, and Di Ward was he's a good judge of players. He was an ex-international anyway, much maligned, but smashing bloke to have in your club.
Yeah.
And I said, I said to him, would you like to go and watch a player from me? So he said, oh, I'd love it, he'd love that. Yeah, I said, oh, you know, I'll pay your expense and so on. So he went to watch him. He played Chelmsford. He was playing up front on his own. He played about 70 games in the season, I think it was then. And when he came back, he said, I said to him, how did he get on? So he said, well, he didn't get on much, Bill. He said, Chelmsford by far the better side. And I said, well, I don't care what you saw of him. I said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to have him. Now, the manager at Burton, what was his name? He played for Newcastle. He'd been at Doncaster actually before, and he'd finished when I got there. Alex Tate. Oh. Alex Tate his name was. And I rang Alex Tate. I said, Ian Hutchinson. He said, yeah. I said, I'd be interested in buying him. How much do you want for him? So he said, 2,000 quid. So I said, right, 2,000 quid. I'll come up there. So, because I just did everything on my own. You know, I didn't bother with going to the director.
All right. Okay.
I just did. So I went up there, saw him, and finished up at Ian's home, talking to his mother and father, because they didn't want him to leave. He was doing an apprenticeship or something. Didn't want him to leave. And I said, look, I said, if he comes down and plays for me, I'll guarantee to you that there are more scouts from the Football League clubs come to watch my team than any other team in the country. And I'll guarantee that he'll finish up in the Football League. Right, so obviously he signed, got a part-time job at the gasworks.
I think he was doing a gas apprenticeship.
He was,
yeah.
well that's what he's doing anyway, and I got him that job there as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a tragic, I mean, he's been dead for years and years, Ian has.
What a player he was.
Well, it was something special, and I warned him because it was on his honeymoon when I sold him to Chelsea.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Ron Stewart came. Ron Stewart was the assistant to Dave Sexton at Chelsea, and Ron, I mean, I knew both of them, but Ron Stewart came on to me and he said, "This bloke Hutchinson, Bill," he said, "it's him that was at Lincoln, isn't it?" You know damn well it's not him that was at Lincoln. I said, I know what's happened. You saw him play at Corby. We played Corby at Corby when Corby had a real good side. And sold the centre half a dummy, and the centre half actually fell over and broke his leg. But he had one of those games where, you know, where he just couldn't do anything wrong, and I mean, he was full of life on him, and vigour, and, you know, desperate to get the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And he said, and Frankie Blunston, who I believe somebody keeps telling me lives not far away up here, and I keep trying to find out, can't find out where he is.
Right.
Frankie Blunston, who had played for Chelsea, he played for Crewe when I played for Chesterfield. And he moved from, I played against him when he was at Crewe, and he moved from Crewe to Chelsea when I moved to Manchester City. And I said, know what's happened, you've had somebody watch him playing. I said, you know damn well it's not him from Lincoln. So he said, how much do you want for him? So I forget how much the fee was. I said, the thing is, I said, whatever the fee, I said, I'll guarantee to you, and he was in charge of the under-23 team, Ron Stewart, at the time. Right. I said, he'll be playing in your under-23 team before you know where you are. So he said, is he that good then? I said, he's that good, yeah. So he said, right. I said, in a minute, I said, I've got something else to say, yeah. I said, you will play us, being the cup holders, at the Abbey Stadium. And if Jack Woolley were alive, he would tell you exactly what I'm telling you. Yeah. That's what I said to him, because I told Jack told me to Woolley what I've done. Arranged for a game against him. You probably remember it.
Oh, don't I? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so they finished up with not only the money that he paid in the transfer fee, but the money from that gate as well, because it was near a full house, wasn't it?
It was 14,000.
The 14,000, yeah.
Yeah. What are your memories of that night? I mean, it was just a magic night.
It was a great night. I mean, for me particularly, because it seemed as though whatever I said was going to happen, happened in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about some of the players when you stood in the Southern League, who you got from the league clubs, who said had been dumped. But you know, I'm thinking of the likes of George Harris and Colin Meldrum and people like that. How did you attract them to the Abbey?
I think, to be honest, I think it's just personality. I mean, I can't put it any other way. I mean, they certainly didn't think, oh well, that they're sort of being upgraded, going to a club like Cambridge United from Reading. And George Harris was probably certainly one of my best signings.
Oh, yeah.
And George Harris was the nicest chap you could ever wish to meet. I mean, it just shows you how directors think of different players. George Harris was one of those people. He scored me 30-odd goals from the left wing in a season.
I know. Yeah.
You know, and it was brilliant absolutely brilliant in the air. He was a great lad among all the. He used to bring his guitar when we played away games, and he'd sit on the coach there with the guitar, singing away and entertaining everybody. And Jeff Proctor, I mean, I've never had a lot of time for many directors, because they just don't understand the game, and they think that the things that they do in business are applicable to football, and they're not. I mean, a few of them are, but Jeff Proctor didn't like him for some reason or other. And I told George Harris. And he was one of those people who said, well, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You know, he didn't bother. But on his last match, when he left me, he came into the tea room, whatever you call it, after the game then, and he walked over to Jeff Proctor and said to him, very, very nicely, I suppose you're glad to see me go then, Mr. Proctor. And his exact words were, I am that boy. And to this day, I had no idea why he didn't like him. He was absolutely brilliant.
He was
a real good player. Colin Meldrum was a drunkard.
Right.
And Colin Meldrum I had one or two problems with, particularly when we were abroad, when we were in Germany actually, when we found out we got gained access to the league. I threatened to put him on the plane and clear him off home.
Right.
But he was a good player. Scored the first goal in the league for Cambridge United.
From a corner, header from a corner.
Yeah, good player, but it wasn't difficult to handle. It was just that he had this vein in him which said he'd got to. But there are plenty more good players besides those.
Oh yes.
Terry Eads was a great player, I thought.
Terry's still around Cambridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nicest lad you could ever wish to meet as well.
But that brings us to the what I've called here the Chelmsford Four, which was Butcher, Cassidy, Leggett, and Eads, wasn't it? Then there's a story. I don't know if you could.
Yeah, and Bud Houghton as well. Don't forget.
Pardon?
Bud Houghton.
Oh, Bud Houghton.
Yeah, another one.
Did he come from Chelmsford?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Anyway, there's a story about.
Harry Ferrier was the manager there. He was a good manager, Harry.
Yeah. When you signed Bill Cassidy, the story goes that you went over to Chelmsford, where he went over to his house and said, "Get in your car, Bill, and follow me back to Cambridge." Is that true?
That's absolutely perfectly true.
And what did Bill say?
The other thing, there's a bit to it. There's a bit more to it than that. Probably I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Go on.
Because I had inside knowledge of what was going on at Chelmsford through a person who was there on the board.
Ah.
And all I had to do was to ring him,
Okay.
and he told me exactly what was going on.
Mm.
So I knew that he'd come back from Detroit Cougars, been playing in America,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
he was in a clubhouse, or a house belonging to one of the directors.
Mm.
And I found out through my information source where he was. I'm in my car, off I go. And Harry Ferrier signed him. He was the right fullback when Harry Ferrier signed him, and he played him centre forward because he had no pace. He had no pace at all, and he was another drunkard.
Oh, you know.
Oh yeah. But I got in my car, knowing where well, I didn't know Chelmsford that well, but I found him anyway. Knocked at the door. Hello, Bill. Right, come on, follow me. I said, what do you mean follow you? Because he knew who I was. Follow me. So I said, why? Where are we going? I said, we're going back to Cambridge and you're going to play for me next season. He said, I'm going to play for... I said, no, you're not. You're playing for me. You're coming to Cambridge United. Right? So what did he do? He got in his car and I took him back to Cambridge and he signed there and then done. Just like that.
What about the others though? Because you took the heart of that Chelmsford City team, didn't you? How did you get them all to come over? Butcher, Leggett, Eads. Leggett was a great player.
Peter Leggett was probably one of the most foolish people I've met in football, because he had such ability. And I said, actually, I don't know whether you remember it. We played a league team in a practice match pre-season. And I forget who it was, but it was obvious. But he ran the left fullback Leggett. I mean, the left fullback. It was getting about 6 or 7 yards away from the fullback. The fullback was turning around and running away. He absolutely mesmerised him. And I said to him after the game, Peter, I said, you play a few games like that, and I can sell you for 50,000 quid. And he said, don't talk daft. I said, I'm telling you, why don't you stick to it? He had a crabby old car, because you know when you go, what they call it, Old Lads Lane, whatever it was, going into the ground.
Cutthroat Lane.
Cutthroat Lane, that's Cutthroat Lane. Because I've just got in there, parked my car, got out one morning, he follows me in his car, pulled up, jumps out, the front wheel dropped off his car. And he just looked at it and said, bugger me.